Joe Rogan just attacked Jake Paul after he stopped his fight with Mike Perry. Yeah, we're not even talking about Mike Tyson anymore because, according to Jake, that fight is old news and already canceled. So, Jake set up this big showdown with Mike Perry for July 20th and everything was set. Until Jake pulled the plug on that one too. It's like the guy's only in it for the fame that comes with announcing these fights. After getting his butt handed to him by Tommy Fury, Jake seems scared of getting hit again. And Joe Rogan has had enough of Jake's games. He's blown the lid off Jake's habit of setting up and then canceling fights, and trust me, this could completely wreck Jake's career. Until now, you might have heard that Jake Paul has canceled his much-anticipated fight with Mike Tyson, throwing the boxing world into absolute chaos. Fans who had eagerly bought their tickets expecting to witness the YouTube star clash with the legendary boxer were left holding the bag. Promotions were in full swing, ads were everywhere, and despite his health struggles, Tyson was geared up and ready to rumble. But then, Jake, in a move that left everyone gobsmacked, decided to pivot and set up a fight with Mike Perry instead.
Yeah, the news is true, folks. Jake Paul, will be fighting Mike Perry, Tampa, Florida, July 20th.
The chaos that followed Jake's sudden switch was off the charts. Fans felt completely betrayed, having poured their money and excitement into the Tyson fight. It was supposed to be this monumental event with all the glitz and glamour that boxing fans dream of. But with Jake pulling the plug, the entire spectacle came crashing down. Tyson, who had been preparing hard despite not being in his prime condition, was understandably furious. He wasn't about to let all that effort, time, and money go to waste just because Jake got cold feet. But you may ask, why did Jake Paul bail on the Tyson fight? Well, the real reason, according to some professionals, is Jake's sheer terror of facing Tyson in the ring. Even though Tyson wasn't at his best, Jake knew deep down that the odds were still heavily against him. He had talked a big game about taking down the legend, but the reality of actually stepping into the ring with Tyson was a whole different beast. Jake's confidence started to waver, and he realized that the risk of losing to Tyson was too high, even if Tyson wasn't in peak form. And there was a time when he was like,
the best boxer on the planet is
Jake Paul.
Why?
Who's doing it?
I mean, if Mike Tyson says, let's do this, are you down?
100%.
Instead of facing a likely defeat, Jake made a calculated move to fight Mike Perry. Perry, while tough, posed a more manageable challenge compared to the unpredictable and still formidable Tyson. This abrupt change, however, didn't sit well with anyone. Fans felt royally cheated, having been sold the dream of a Tyson versus Paul showdown. Promoters were left scrambling, trying to salvage what they could from the wreckage of the event. But here's the kicker. Everyone thought Jake bailed on the Tyson fight out of fear, but the real reason is juicier than a TMZ headline. Turns out, Jake Paul was neck-deep in a bribery scandal. As we all know, Jake, always the drama king, is trying to slip some cash under the table to the ref. According to insider sources, Jake had secret negotiations going on, hoping to grease the ref's palms for a guaranteed win. But when asked in front of camera, he was so unbothered, like it's a false news.
Some shit like, you feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, you see it online, you probably don't know.
Yeah,
My brother thought the fights were rigged.
Yeah.
My older brother thought for sure they were rigged. And I had to break it
so
down.
People
crazy.
thought my bucket pool was rigged online.
But like,
You know
what
what
if
I'm
people like not understand? Like, you'll go to jail. Like, I don't.
You might have seen Jake in his usual overly confident style, boasting about knocking Tyson out, making it sound like a done deal. Word on the street is that Jake genuinely believed he had the ref in his pocket. He thought a little cash could ensure all the close calls would go his way, maybe even turn a blind eye if things got rough. The details of this alleged bribery attempt are just too good. Jake's team reportedly reached out to the referee, offering a hefty sum to sway the fight. The plan was simple. Make sure any tight decisions went in Jake's favor and maybe overlook a few hits that could put Jake in a tough spot. But in the high-stakes world of big-money boxing, it's not completely unheard of. But like all poorly thought-out schemes, this one didn't go as planned. The referee, either because of integrity or fear of getting caught, didn't take the bait. The bribe didn't stick, and Jake's grand plan started to unravel. With the fight date looming and no guarantee of a fixed outcome, Jake had to act fast. He knew stepping into the ring with Tyson without any backup could spell disaster. This is where it gets even juicier. Realizing his bribery attempt had failed, Jake needed a quick exit strategy. He couldn't risk his reputation and career by getting knocked out by Tyson. So, in a move dripping with desperation, Jake switched opponents. He bailed on Tyson and announced a fight with Mike Perry instead.
Super dangerous. I think he's one of the most violent people on earth. He's undefeated in bare knuckle, which is arguably the craziest sport in the world. So I have a lot of respect for Mike Perry, and I know he's a killer. He's a knockout artist. He's tough.
Of course, this abrupt change didn't go unnoticed. Boxing insiders and fans quickly smelled something fishy and started questioning the switch. Rumors about the bribery began to swirl. People started connecting the dots. Jake's over-the-top confidence, the failed bribe, and the last-minute opponent change. Mike Perry, a solid fighter but nowhere near Tyson's level, became the new focus. Jake figured he had a much better chance of winning against Perry, keeping his undefeated streak alive. As the story unfolded, more details about the bribery attempt came to light. Sources close to the situation revealed that the money offered was substantial enough to tempt anyone. But the risk was too high, and the referee chose to stay clean. Jake's camp, of course, denies everything, spinning the narrative that the switch to Perry was a strategic decision based on training and preparation. But the timing and circumstances make that hard to swallow. Now let's break down why Jake picked Mike Perry.
I would assume maybe you didn't want to waste the training camp, you wanted to stay busy, but is it more to it than that?
Yeah, there's a lot that goes into it, but first and foremost, I'm on a path to world championships, and I wanted to stay active and get.
So Perry, while a decent fighter, doesn't have the same intimidating aura as Tyson. Known more for his brawling style than for technical finesse, Perry was seen as an easier, more predictable opponent. Jake's team figured out that Perry's style could be easily dissected and countered. Unlike Tyson, whose unpredictability and sheer power could spell disaster for Jake, Perry seemed like a straightforward path to victory. The setup for this fight was meticulously planned. Behind the scenes, Jake's management team worked tirelessly to engineer this matchup. According to sources, negotiations with Perry's camp began well before the public even knew Tyson was out. Jake's team knew they had to act fast. They needed an opponent who'd accept the fight on short notice, someone who wouldn't question the sudden switch and could be presented as a real threat but still beatable. And that's where Mike "Platinum" Perry came in as the perfect candidate. Known for his aggressive style and willingness to take fights on short notice, Perry's inclusion was marketed as a gritty, no-holds-barred brawl. This setup aimed to keep the excitement and hype alive, even if it wasn't quite on the same level as a Tyson fight. Public reaction to this sudden change was all over the place. Hardcore boxing fans and critics were not amused. Social media exploded with accusations of cowardice, pointing out the obvious gap between Tyson's legendary status and Perry's journeyman reputation. Forums buzzed with conspiracy theories about Jake's real motives. Did he really fear Tyson that much? Was this all just a clever dodge to avoid a probable defeat? Critics in the sports media had a field day. ESPN analyst Max Kellerman openly questioned the legitimacy of the switch, suggesting that Jake's team was more worried about appearances than actual competition. But Jake's die-hard fans, the ones glued to his every Instagram post and tweet, defended him passionately. They praised his smart thinking and tactical decision. They argued that fighting Perry was still a significant challenge and that Jake was simply doing what any professional would do: strategize to win. This split in public opinion only added more fuel to the media frenzy surrounding the event. And let's not forget Mike Perry's take on this whole circus. Perry, who has never been one to back down from a fight, saw this as an unexpected golden ticket. He expressed his excitement all over social media, posting intense training videos and trash-talking Jake. To him, a fight is a fight, and taking down someone as notorious as Jake Paul was too good to pass up.
Teach you in the sport of boxing, you little bitch. This is not bare knuckle, not a bunch of just
freaking
MMA fighters. MMA fighters just running around punching each other bare knuckle like some hooligans. I'll show you a real sport.
But seriously, how much longer do we have to put up with this problem, child? Someone has to stop it all, and that's where Joe Rogan came in. This time, he's got Jake Paul in his crosshairs. Rogan, never one to hold back, ripped the mask off Jake's antics, exposing the slimy underbelly of the so-called fighter's recent shenanigans. During a heated podcast segment, Rogan laid out the whole saga with such clarity that even Jake's fans couldn't defend him.
Savage mode right now. He's in savage mode. If I was Jake Paul right now, I would be shitting my pants.
Oh, bro,
Rogan called Jake out for what he really is, a manipulative schemer who's bitten off way more than he can chew. He suggested that Mike Tyson, the iconic boxer duped by Jake's switcheroo, take legal action. And Tyson, not one to sit quietly when wronged, took Rogan's advice to heart. Rogan detailed how Tyson could seek justice for the financial losses and reputational damage Jake's antics had caused. The numbers are staggering. Tyson is suing Jake for a jaw-dropping $350 million. To put it into perspective, Jake Paul's net worth is estimated to be between $17 million and $30 million. The disparity between these figures and the lawsuit amount is enormous. This isn't just a financial slap on the wrist, it's a financial sledgehammer aimed at Jake's entire empire. For someone who's built his brand on brash confidence and flashy displays of wealth, this lawsuit could be devastating. The fallout didn't end with the legal filings. Jake, known for his bravado and swagger, found himself in a very different kind of spotlight. In a recent episode of the podcast Impulsive Clips, hosted by his brother Logan Paul, Jake appeared visibly shaken. Gone was the cocky, unflappable persona. In its place was a man on the brink of breaking down. Jake's eyes welled up with tears as he admitted his mistakes. In the podcast, Rogan didn't just expose these actions. He condemned them unequivocally. He highlighted how such behavior undermines the integrity of boxing, a sport that thrives on fairness and respect. Rogan's influence means that his words resonate far beyond his immediate audience, bringing widespread attention to Jake's dubious tactics. But after being sued and realizing that his bad words and actions don't fly in this world, Jake Paul is now facing the consequences of his antics. It's a stark reminder that no matter how high you rise, you have to answer for the things you've done. So now Jake has to deal with the fallout of his actions, and it's going to be a rough ride. Drop your thoughts in the comments below.